denounce white supremacy. And frankly, you want to know something? I denounce Antifa, and I denounce these people on the left that are burning down our cities that are run by Democrats who don't know what they're doing. I denounce white supremacy. And frankly, you want to know something? I denounce Antifa, and I denounce these people on the left that are burning down our cities that are run by Democrats that are burning down our cities that are burning down our cities that are run by Democrats who don't know what they're doing.
While we're denouncing, let me ask you about QAnon. It is this theory that Democrats are a satanic pedophile ring and that you are the savior of that. Now, can you just once and for all state that that is completely not true and disavow QAnon in its entirety?
I know nothing about QAnon. I know nothing about QAnon.
In its entirety?
I know nothing about QAnon.
I just told you.
I know very little. You told me, but what you tell me doesn't necessarily make it fact. I hate to say that. I know nothing about it. I do know they are very much against pedophilia. They fight it very hard, but I know nothing about it.
They believe it is a satanic cult run by the deep state.
The subject. I'll tell you what I do know about. I know about Antifa, and I know about the radical left, and I know how violent they are and how vicious they are, and I know how they're burning down cities run by Democrats, not run by Republicans.
Republican Senator Ben Sasse said, quote, QAnon is nuts, and real leaders call conspiracy theories conspiracy theories.
He may be
Why not
right.
just say it's crazy and not true?
He may be right. I just don't know about QAnon.
You do know.
I don't know. No, I don't know. I don't know.
Let me ask you another thing.
Let's waste a whole show. You start off with white supremacy, I denounce it. You start off with something else, let's go. Keep asking me these questions.
I do have one more in this vein.
Let me just tell you, what I do hear about it is they are very strongly against pedophilia. And I agree with that. I mean, I do agree with that, and I agree with it very strongly.
But there's not a satanic pedophile cult being run by.
I know nothing about that.
You don't know that? Okay.
No, I don't know that.
You just this week.
Neither do you know that.
Okay, just this week you retweeted.
Why aren't you asking me about Antifa? Why aren't you asking me about the radical left?
Because you're
Why
volunteering
aren't you asking Joe Biden questions about why doesn't he condemn Antifa? Why does he say it doesn't exist?
Because you're here before me.
No, excuse that's so cute. Antifa exists. They're vicious, they're violent, they kill people, and they're burning down our cities. And they happen to be radical left.
Oh, man. Holy smokes. Donald Trump on the rampage, man. Holy shit. You saw that shit last night? Or Donald Trump? Again, dueling debates. You had, they weren't debates. They were, Trump was being attacked by the lady commentator, and Joe Biden was on another channel getting softball questions from Stephanopoulos. So that was Trump, man. Trump did a great job, man. Just, defending himself. So I want to talk about today this controversy. Breathe in the air. Right? Is there a problem? Is there a problem with wearing a mask? I mean, it causes discomfort, right? It's supposed to save your life, right? Save the life. Are we even allowed to talk about this? Are we allowed to discuss the ins and outs of masks, maybe the proper wearing of masks, proper times to wear masks, or the excessive wearing of masks? We're not allowed to talk. Give me a 1 if we're on. Give me a 1 if we're back on. It looks like we're Buffy. Buffy, because we're talking about something that people want to know about and are not allowed to hear about. Right? Is that why we're buffering? Yeah, I see it. I see what's going on. So listen, this is what we are, right? This is the truth. This is truth and evidence of the attack on truth. All we want to do is have a intellectual discussion, a discussion. Give me a 2 if we're back. Give me a 2 if we're back. I think we're back. Hey. Are we down? Are we down? Blue line. Are we down? Give me a 2. All right, we're back. Okay. All right, everything's back. Back. So this is the truth about our existence here in social media, in the world. And there's now mounting evidence. I just saw a clip in Sterling Price. Good morning, everybody. Sterling Price is still having a buffery problem over there. No, my stream seems to be going good. We're 6 minutes in, and we've already been schooled that this is how it will go. So just bear the bumpy ride, and we'll see how much of this we can talk about. But we'll talk. I mean, because it's important, right? We're being asked to cover our faces, and we want to know. We want to know, right, from a professional scientific perspective, if in fact there is a problem with gas exchange. Now, people complain that the mask constricts their breathing, right? And that is a form of constriction. Evidence, right? You don't need much science to say, like, you put the mask on, you can't breathe. Right? So that's scientific evidence. That's millions and millions of people coming up with the same subject. So let's look at that. That's a heavily scorned, heavily avoided subject in the mainstream media, because you're told to put the fucking mask on and shut the fuck up. Now, there's also mounting evidence that suggests that the mask and the 6 foot distance is really, really just an austerity measure to put people into submission, to bang them into submission. Evidence is in the moving of the goalposts in colleges, where colleges are saying now that they're using the phrase shelter in place when there's trouble on campus. Something happened. Look, something happened. So let's use that COVID-19 law and get them to shelter in place. Right? And while you're at it, my new T-shirt. So I got my monk shirt on. My monk. I guess I'm a monk, right? I guess I've become a monk in my latter years. Long hair, baseball wear, cap wearing monk, and so there is evidence on the ground that says colleges are using austerity measures of separation and masks to diffuse crowds. Now, there's also a breaking story that I want to show you in Thailand, where the same thing is going on, where gatherings of more than 5 people have become illegal. And the good students in Thailand, Bangkok, are pushing back. And the government is basically saying, they're not saying, oh, no, it's COVID-19. They're saying to diffuse social gatherings because it jeopardizes the oligarchs. It jeopardizes the kingdom. So Thailand is coming clean in what they're saying. America, U.S., and Europe is clearly far behind. And you saw that video of, I can't play the video because it was Rupli, but of Xi Pao, whatever the guy, the president of China, choking his brains out, coughing his brains out on stage to a crowd of thousands of masked Chinese watching him. You saw that shit? So does Xi Pao, whatever his name is, the leader of China, is he inflicted with the bug? Did he get the Wuhan? Did he get the China virus? So let's look at some of that stuff, man. So good morning, everybody in that chat there. Vinny D. Martini. Monks run Bangkok. No, they don't really. The people that run Bangkok are there's 2 factions, the red shirt, yellow shirt. And the yellow shirts represent the establishment, represent the king. And the red shirts are the mafia, the left, the intellectuals, right? So, but the kingdom is, whenever you see the military and they're wearing yellow, or they wrap yellow around the guns, that's a sign of a kingdom. Right? And the Thai people have a long history of protest, and then they come back together. They all come back together, and so it should be interesting to see. But the messaging is what I'm talking about. That no more than 5 people are allowed to gather in Bangkok. So that means restaurants are done, right? Old bars, done. You can't, no gathering, no getting together. What the hell is going on in the world? Why this push towards austerity? Why this push towards lack of travel, lack of communication, fear of one another? What is going on in the world? Why are humans moving away from each other, rather than towards each other? Who's calling the shots? What is the benefit, and who benefits from having people afraid, 6 feet apart, and covering their face so you can't see their expressions, so you can't hear their voice? Even making speech, talk. By talking can spread a virus that kills people with no evidence of the actual killing. Very, very little. More so with the flu. Now, what's the motive, right? And we're not allowed to talk about these things, right? Are we still even live? Who the hell knows, right? Maybe I'm talking to myself. But I'll keep talking to myself because I think the truth, this kind of truth is important to know. So thank you, everybody, for joining me. James Weaver, Jason Walsh, Dan Donito, Sterling Price, my brother from a different mother, on the wrench. Vinny DiMartini on the wrench as well. Weevil Girl. Let's give Vinny DiMartini a hand, man. Vinny DiMartini single-handedly weeded out the jerk-offs that used to come on this channel just to be jerk-offs. Vinny DiMartini, man, fucking flexed his muscles, got rid of those jack-offs. Thank you, Vinny DiMartini, man. We should all thank him because now we have a real discussion. We have actual people that are here to hear. People that are here to hear and learn and discuss and exchange ideas. And you don't have to agree with me. Who am I? I'm just one person, right? I'm just some monk. I'm just some monk from New York, man. No, just a monk. Some guy who knows New York and he's a monk, right? He fucking sits around. He's in the park, doing his meditation. People fucking stopping and staring. I wish somebody would film me. I don't get that honor. When I'm doing my shit in the park, like I'm meditating or I'm balancing, people don't come up and talk to me. I'm very unapproachable. But I do wish that someone would film it so I could see what it looks like. Because I don't know. The camera's in my pocket. Right? I can't film myself. I probably could. I probably should set the camera up at a distance and just check it out. Anyway, man, that's what I do, man. That's what I do, man. I don't want to talk about myself. Let's talk about the world that we live in. Right? We'll talk about Trump. Trump did a great job last night. It was hard to watch the whole thing. I only watched pieces of it because Trump is just to him, it's just a jostling match. It's just a boxing match, And Biden too. Biden had his own bullshit. I can't even watch it. Just come on, let's go already. The election, right? The fake polls are still saying that Trump is down by 2 points, 3 points, 10 points, 8 points. Biden is leading. How? Where? When? Whoa! Who's voting for Joe Biden? We'll see. We'll never know. All we can hope for is that the Republicans get off their ass and cheat and get Trump back in. Right? Because if Trump allows a fair and free election, he's a fool. Right? Because the Democrats, we know that already. They cheat, they lie, they steal. That's what's going on. Red again. We are buffering. Are we buffering? Buffer. I'll wait. Buffy the Vampire. I think we're back. And we are back. So let's talk about it. So kindly become a Patreon of this channel, MarcusConte.com. And if ever we are lost, nowhere to be found, this will be our official form of communication. I will put notes right here and tell you where we are. Right now, I should do that right now, right? Because a lot of people don't even know we're on this B channel. And maybe I will. I'll add a B channel link to the B channel. Or the C channel is BitChute. We got A, B, and C channels because of the nature of our existence here on social media. I inhaled water. I'm not sick. Coughing is not a bad thing. Neither is breathing. So this will be the C channel. These are the deleted YouTube videos and others too. I'm just chucking stuff up there. be. This is PayPal. That's how we support the channel, through PayPal, a one-time contribution, or a Patreon. And I'm going to explore the idea of doing live streams on Patreon. Someday I'm going to do it. Here's the Criminal LARPers, if you haven't heard. Those guys, fucking follow them, jerk-offs. And some music, if you like, and daily videos. All right. So let's continue. Let us continue. So let's listen to Trump again in his entirety. This was pretty good. So 2 minutes of Trump. Trump was riddled by what's her name? What's this bitch's name? I forgot her name already. Who cares what her name is?
I denounce white supremacy. Okay. And frankly, you want to know something?
She was a nasty bitch. I tell you, I watched a little bit of it. Nasty bitch. And you see the black chick in the background stole the show. Every time Trump said something positive, she nodded. Every time she disagreed with the commentator, she went like this. So, is that a Trump plant? I don't know, man. Black chick, probably a hot black chick. You can't really see her.
I denounce Antifa, and I denounce these people on the left that are burning down our cities, that are run by Democrats who don't know what they're doing.
While we're denouncing, let me ask you about QAnon. It is this theory that Democrats are a satanic pedophile ring and that you are the savior of that. Now, can you just once and for all state that that is completely not true, and that disavow QAnon in its entirety?
No, it's not entirely untrue. And disavowing QAnon, watch Trump's answer. Trump's answer is like, I don't know what you're talking about. What QAnon?
I know nothing about QAnon.
I just told you.
I know very little. You told me, but what you tell me doesn't necessarily make it fact. I hate to say that. I know.
What you say doesn't. I just told you. Like the bitch says, I just told you. I just told you. Like, no, you're full of shit. You're a fucking liar. You're a $6 million liar. You're paid to lie, bitch. You're attacking the president of the United States in a public forum. Right? Fuck you.
I know nothing about it. I do know they are very much against pedophilia. They fight it very hard, but I know nothing about it.
They believe it is a satanic cult run by the deep
state. Study the subject. I'll tell you what I do know about. I know about Antifa, and I know about the.
Well, it is a satanic cult run by the deep state. That's what. Wait a second. What did she just say? It's a satanic cult? What did she just say?
I'll tell you what I do know about. I know about Antifa, and I know about the radical study.
If you'd like me to, run by.
They fight it very hard.
It's interesting what she said. Hold on.
But I know nothing about it.
They believe it is a satanic cult run by the deep state.
Study the subject. I'll tell you.
They believe it's a satanic cult run by the deep state. What does that mean? They believe it's a satanic cult. You mean the Democrats, the Democratic establishment, right? That the government is a satanic cult. Well, we're going to keep buffering here. I don't know what to tell you, man. We're going to keep buffering. Are we buffering?
They fight it very hard.
Are we buffering? Are we even live? Yeah, we're buffering. We're buffering. Buffering, you buffer me, I'll buffer you. You buffer me, I'll buffer you. What are we supposed to do? What are we supposed to do? What are we supposed to do? What we supposed to do, you? What are we supposed to do? What are we supposed to do? What are we supposed to do, you? Are we buffering? 20 minutes in, we're getting killed here. Oh, we're getting crushed, man. This shit is crazy, man. It's crazy. It's crazy, man. Buffy. I know. Let's play my harmonica, man. Fuck this shit. I won't be silenced. We won't be silenced. We won't be silenced. We won't be silenced. Hold on a second. Let me just. Oh, there we go. Pow, we're back. And we are back. You see what I see. See, I see when red starts to hit the screen, like all this fucking red shit. That's how I know. And if I'm not looking at that screen, I don't know. I just got this little bar. I'll show you where it is. It's right over here. You see where my cursor's spinning around? I look at this little green bar over here because I can't see this page while I'm live, right? So anyway, so we're back. What were we talking about? See how it distracts you? How it distracts you? Oh, we're talking about QAnon, right? You're not allowed to do that anymore. That's illegal.
What I do know about, I know about Antifa, and I know about the radical left, and I know how violent they are and how vicious they are, and I know how they're burning down cities run by Democrats, not run by Republicans.
Republican Senator Ben Sass said, quote, QAnon is nuts, and real leaders call conspiracy theories.
He may be
Why not
right.
just say it's
Can I be
crazy and
honest?
not true?
He may be right. I just don't know about QAnon.
You do know.
I don't know. No, I don't know.
The 100% chance that he does know, but it's funny that he's, it's like, fuck you. What do you know that I know? What do you know about what I know, bitch?
I don't know.
Let me ask you another thing.
Let's waste a whole show. You start off with white supremacy. I denounce it. You start
This
off.
lady's a hack. Right? It's a straight up hack. I'm surprised he didn't just call her a hack. Listen, you're a hack. Get out. Get off the stage. Right? I thought this was a town hall. A town hall. The people are supposed to ask the questions, not the cunt. The cunt on stage.
Off with something else. Let's go. Keep asking
Paid for cunt.
me these questions.
Okay. I do have one more in this vein.
Let me just tell you what I do hear about it is they are very strict.
This week
Why
you
aren't
retweeted-
you asking me about Antifa? Why aren't you asking me
'Cause you
about
just-
the radical left?
because you're
Why aren't
volunteering
you
it.
asking Joe Biden questions about why does
It's a great question. Why don't you ask her? Why don't you talk about Antifa? It's a way more violent, way more established, way more has way more momentum than fucking QAnon. QAnon's just a bunch of guys that sit at home and post online, as opposed to Antifa, where they're outside burning shit down. It's a good question. It's a good point, Mr. President.
doesn't he condemn Antifa? Why does he say it doesn't exist?
Because you're here before me.
No, excuse, that's so cute. Antifa exists. They're vicious,
so cute.
they're violent, they kill people, and they're burning down our cities. And they happen to be radical left.
So that was Trump, man. Trump fucking knocking the skin off the ball. Look at this jerk off, right? Here's jack off Biden, right? Biden is saying that about packing the Supreme Court. Will you pack the Supreme Court, jerk off Joe? Will you load the Supreme Court up with people of your opinion and cause the balance of the Supreme Court to go in your favor by adding more members of the Supreme Court, making it from 9 and just filling up the whole fucking room with judges? Make 20. Why? That's what they're going to do, right? Packing the court. So Biden was asked about packing it last night. He's a coward too, right? The reason why there was no debate was because of Joe Biden. And Joe Biden, the Democratic influence on the organization that decides the rules of debates, and they ruled that it had to be remote. And Trump, correctly said, "Fuck you! I'm not going to do a remote debate. What is that? That's not a debate. That's not a real debate." Right? And he said Joe Biden would cheat. He'd have teleprompter, and he'd have 5 advisors in front, behind the camera advising him. "No, don't say that. Oh, yeah, don't say that." Flashing signs and cards and totally coaching him. Trump's accurate in saying that. But so here's Biden getting softball questions from Chris Stephanopoulos on ABC.
I have not been a fan of court packing because I think it just generates what will happen. Whoever wins, it just keeps moving in a way that is inconsistent with what is going to be manageable.
So you're still not a fan?
Well, I'm not a fan. I then say it depends on how this turns out. Not how he wins, but how it's handled. But there's a number of things that are going to be coming up, and there's going to be a lot of discussion about other alternatives as well.
What does that mean, how it's handled? How will that determine whether you're for expanding?
For example, there's actually real live debate on the floor. if people are really going to be able to have a time to go through this. I don't know anybody who's gone on the floor and that's been a controversial justice in terms of fundamentally altering the makeup of the court that's gone through in a day kind of thing. I mean, it depends on how much they rush this. And you think about it, George. Here you got a lot of people not being able to pay their mortgage, not being able to put food on the table, not being able to keep their business open, not being able to do anything to deal with what's going on in terms of the economy as a consequence of COVID, and they have no time to deal with that, but they have time to rush this through.
Well, right now it looks like they're going to have a vote around Halloween. So if they vote on it before the election, you are open to expanding the court?
I'm open to considering what happens from that point on.
So he basically said, I'm sorry, I was distracted while I was doing that. I was trying to, the chat looked like the chat stalled. So I'm getting fucked with right here. So just bear with it. All right. So Biden basically said, we'll have to think about it, right? He said about packing the court. He's a liar. That's what they're going to do. It's the Democrats. How fucking boring was that guy anyway? Who's going to vote for this idiot? Who is going to vote for this clown is what I want to know. So anyway, let's follow the story, and then we're going to get into the whole carbon dioxide stuff. I know we're running late here. We're running long. We're running long, but this is what we got to do, man. This is what we got to do. So Twitter changed the guidelines following the post-censorship controversy. So the New York Post put out a piece, an October surprise, if you will, that puts Joe Biden and his son somewhere in the bowels of the White House discussing Burisma, which Joe Biden has venomously denied. And the alleged emails, the hacked emails that surfaced, rather than the mainstream media jumping on it and saying, look what we found, they're saying, it's probably not real. That's what they do, because it doesn't fit the narrative. The billionaire class is heavily invested in Joe Biden. They want to see a dead, senile guy get in there so they can manipulate the shit out of him, give power back to idiots like Nancy Pelosi. And I guess drive the country in the same direction. Masks, austerity, fear. Right? Inundate people with fear. So the Post, I guess, won that. At least they think they won it. So Twitter, who did took the lead in censoring out the New York Post's article, New York Post's breaking story, said that they changed its hacking materials policy. Now, don't get too excited. That's what they do. This is called moving the goalpost. They will change the policy, but then they'll just use other ways to keep you down. That's all. It's very, very hard to. It's like trying to grab onto the greased pig. The pig is all full of grease, and you try to wrestle him to the ground, and he just squeezes away. That's what this is. Right? So Twitter has changed its hacked materials policy. What the fuck is that? In the wake of social media giants' controversial decision to block an exclusive report by the Post on Hunter Biden's emails, Twitter will no longer remove alleged hacked content unless it is shared by hackers themselves or accomplices, and will label questionable tweets rather than blocking them from being shared. Hey, listen, Twitter. I fucking hate Twitter. I think it's stupid. I only post there just to push my videos down their throats so that they appear in the search engines. That's the only reason I do it. Facebook too. I could give a flying fuck if Facebook and Twitter disappeared from the face of the earth. I don't care about them. And quite frankly, if YouTube dies tomorrow, I won't miss it. I would just go somewhere else, right? There'll always be. See, I look at this. I look at what I do as a skill. You can't take this away from me. You can't. You can take away the platform. You can take away the history of the videos. You could take away the work, but you can't take away the progress. You can't take away this moment right now of speaking out. You can't do it. Somewhere people will gravitate to the truth, so long as you stay grounded in the truth. If you're balanced and grounded in the moment, if you're engaging the world in the moment, in the truth, then nothing can stop you. Nothing. A bunch of idiot corporate censors are not going to stop that, because people are smarter than that. People will figure it out. Right? So that's why I say, I always say I'm here to stay. I'm not going anywhere. Right? I'm going to keep doing this as long as I show up on a daily basis. This is what we'll do. Right? And who knows where it leads to? But hacks like Twitter and Facebook are we're living in a time of deliberate censorship, and you got to ask yourself why. Is it really detrimental to people's minds to know that Joe Biden and his son were involved in some kind of shenanigans in the Ukraine with a company called Burisma? Is it so important that people not be able to have that discussion, or a simple discussion like today? Why are we being attacked? It's because of the title. Asphyxiation of masks, dirty masks, right? You're not allowed to talk about it. What is so bad about that? What is so bad? You got to ask yourself, why and who are against open discussion of truth? And it's always money. It's like, no, because if we talk about that, then we lose control of the narrative. We lose control. People won't consume the way they're supposed to consume. They'll have too much independence. We need conformity. We need compliance. We need people to comply, or else, because they're only 1%. If 99% of the people rise up, that's it. The system breaks. Right? The system as we know it collapses, and that's the great fear. That's the great fear of our time, that we're controlled by very, very wealthy people, a handful of very, very, very wealthy people, billionaires, corporations. Right? That's who we're controlled by. So if we're controlled by those people, and they're only 1%, that if 99% of the people stand up, then you would defeat them. That's the reality, and that's what you're essentially seeing. Facebook, Twitter, those are strong arms of the oligarchy. They're owned, some of they're all owned by billionaires. Right? Facebook, it didn't start out that way. They never do. They always start out, we're innocent, we're for the people. And then slowly but surely, it changes. Slowly but surely, it becomes about them and their profits. Right? So Twitter is backpedaling like a motherfucker, like a mofo. Trying to hey, here we go again. See? Buffer. You buffer me, I'll buffer you. See? Truth. Right? We got the truth out, though, right? We got the truth out, but someone's watching. And we're back. I see green again. I'm sorry for the buffering, but this is what it is, man. Watch the video watch it again. I'm going to try to repeat myself. I got my eye on the censor button. When it censors, I'm going to make sure that I messaged it properly. So let's continue. So as I said earlier, Thailand issues emergency decree for protesters heckle royal motorcade. So here's all these Thai people. I love Thailand. I'm a fan. I've been there many times. I at one point in 2007, 2008, from 2000 to 2007, I studied Thai, the language, somewhat. So I was able to speak it when I went there in 2007, 8, 9, and at around that time. When I was there, I was speaking Thai somewhat, and now it's just a fucking blur. I hear it. When I hear it, I can kind of figure out what they're saying, but it's very hard if you don't hear it all the time 10 years later, 8 years later. But anyway, point of this article is that you would think that the austerity, the separating people, was about COVID-19. That's why they did it. Right? That's where all these rules came from, the COVID-19 rules. Right? Keep people away from each other because they're sick and they're ill and make them afraid of each other. Right? That was the reason. The reason was the disease. But now the disease is not the reason. It's not the reason. It's a good reason to use the distance and the excuse, right? The excuse of disease spreading. But it's not. That's not what they're doing anymore. Now they're doing it to diffuse protest, to diffuse political distension, political separation. Watch. Singapore, Thailand issued an emergency decree banning gatherings of more than 5 people, seeking to end student-led protests that have grown bolder in challenging the government and the country's powerful monarchy. Now that's it in the whole sentence. That's it. That's it. That's one sentence that tells you the whole thing. An emergency decree banning gatherings because of student-led protests that have grown bolder in challenging the government. That's what it is. Right? At least they're honest. At least the Thai government is honest, saying, no, it's not about the disease, the spread of disease. We got that shit under control. There's no fucking problem here. But let's use it to keep people away from each other. No more than 5 people gathering is insane. If you've ever been to Bangkok, that is impossible. You think New York City is crowded? You think fucking Los Angeles is crowded? Go to Bangkok in January in the nice weather. It's just fucking jammed. The cars you can't even drive. Forget about the sidewalks. It's very, very crowded, and that's a cultural thing there. So I just wanted to point that out. I'm not going to dive too deep in there. We're with the Thai people, but you could see how they're having some political unrest there, and they're challenging the king, and it's very serious there. You don't do that. If you do that solo, you'll get 15 years in jail for insulting the king, something like that. It's crazy. Or if you rip the money has a picture of the king on it. If you rip the money, disrespect the money, they'll throw you in jail for life. It's fucked up. And as a foreigner, you don't go to Bangkok and talk about the king. You don't openly have a political discussion in the public square if you're not Thai. And even if you are Thai, you don't discuss it. It's none of your business. That's what you learn when you go to a place like that. It's none of your business. And the point is that we're coming to the same fucking thing. We are coming to a similar place where you are not allowed to talk about your life and your government and your we the people. That's what's happening, right? In places like this, they're already halfway there to subordination, but we are now moving in that direction. It's inescapable, is what I'm saying. It's not that it can't be stopped. It's just that the path that we're on is inescapably obvious. That's what I'm saying. So let's ask Bruce Springsteen. Maybe he knows. Bruce was the boss. Fucking Bruce Springsteen. I used to be a total fan of Bruce Springsteen. Not anymore, man. I'll still listen to the old music. It's good, like Nebraska and shit. I love that shit, man. Oh, no. Screen door slams. Mary's dress sways. That wasn't exactly it, but it was close. So Springsteen says he'll be on the next plane to Australia if Trump wins re-election. Enter the new... Trump is now the new... Springsteen is now the new... what's her name? Fucking Roseanne. Remember Roseanne? I'm leaving. If Trump gets elected, I'm leaving. Now Bruce Springsteen is going to move to Australia. Let's find out if this is true. The 71-year-old rocker recently spoke with the Australian press via a virtual chat, and he said said that should the election favor Trump, he might not stick around the U.S. Let's see the end of this, because I don't really want to see this shit. Despite having help from his new guitar, Where's the line? The rocker said, how it happens, I don't know. I've done it for 50 years. I don't know. I don't know what the fuck I'm reading anymore. But there's a part in here where he says, if Trump... I looked at it and I could tell right away that it was beautifully made. He's talking about guitars, but it's the line. Here it is. The star then added a potential move. If Trump is reelected, which he will not be, I'm predicting right now he's going to lose. If by some hapstance he should be, I'll be on the next plane. Springsteen said. You gotta wonder too. Here's a musical icon, a real American, won the hearts and souls of millions of people, right? globally, right? It was a power, what a force of nature Bruce Springsteen was, right up there with the Rolling Stones, right up there with the Beatles. Powerful poetry in motion. What makes a guy like this now? And I'll present the question. I know the answer, but what makes a gentleman like this change his mind, or not change his mind, but not see the truth anymore? What makes him separate from the people, where he's now doing the bidding of the establishment? Trump is no danger to fucking anybody. Trump is like everybody else, right? He just happened to be there. He just happened to have won the election. But what makes Bruce Springsteen different? It's the money. It's the fucking money. Bruce Springsteen has his accounts, his wealth is probably most definitely managed in part by Goldman Sachs. Probably Chase Bank, Chase Manhattan. Probably a little Citibank. He probably has, 10 different trading accounts that are all managed. He doesn't know anything about them, but his millions are making him more millions. And his opinion then becomes jaded, just like Chris Cuomo or the bitch that was grilling Trump on stage and trying to insult him, trying to make him look bad, trying to get that soundbite. It's the money. It's the money that corrupts. And he's part of it now. So, but for little people, this is what happens. Black man granted parole after 23 years in prison for stealing hedge clippers. Ooh, what a bad man. What a bad man. A black Louisiana man who was sentenced to life in prison after stealing hedge clippers in 1997 was granted parole Thursday. 63-year-old Mr. Bryant, will get a conditional release. And it's he had a slew of felonies, right? He had a couple of things, 22 arrests, 11 convictions, 4 of which were felonies. He's not an outstanding citizen. But the final straw, the final thing was he got life in prison for a final theft of some hedge clippers, right? And the guy even claimed that he was, he's strung out on alcohol and cocaine. He had a problem. The guy had a problem, and they threw him in jail for the rest of his life. And I only bring that up because how many bankers have gotten 23 years in jail or life in prison for their crimes? None that I can know. Global banks defy U.S. crackdowns by serving oligarchs, criminals, and terrorists. Oh, so the banks, as long as the banks serve the oligarchs and the criminals, the drug dealers, the illicit money, and the terrorists that are also strong arms of the oligarch. We need those wars because we make money on those wars. As long as you're in that game, then you're fine. But if you're a little guy, if you're a little poor little black man from Louisiana, you get fucking thrown in a can for the rest of your life for stealing hedge clippers. So let's look at how much money. Briefly, J.P. Morgan. Look at the names. Oh, shit. Wow, the record shows that 5 global banks, J.P. Morgan, HSBC, Standard Chartered Bank, Deutsche Bank, and New York Mellon, kept profiting from powerful and dangerous players, even after U.S. authorities fined these financial institutions for early failures to stem flows of dirty money. Now, if you're a fan, if you're a regular at the show, I talk about this all the time. Banks are deeply, deeply corrupted. Hold on a second. Are so deeply corrupted. That's my phone, by the way. Someone wants my attention, but you can't have it. You can't have it. You can't have it. I don't know who has my number. People don't have my phone number. My phone number is totally unlisted, off the record. That phone, anyway. I got many phones. Many phones. I got many phones. Many phones, many ways of getting in touch. So here's here's the criminal breakdown. These are the guys, Kazakhstan embezzlement from J.P. Morgan Chase. Here's Habib Bank Limited, New York, corruption in Nigeria. There's so many examples. Venezuela embezzlements, Russian oligarchs, Oleg Deripaska. All these guys, right? All fucking criminals, right? Look at them all. Look at them all. Look at them all. They're all fucking criminals. Tainted transactions. So that was my point there. Is that the poor black man over here got 23 years for stealing hedge clippers, and these fucks get no time, nothing. They just get a fine. They get a fine. They make $10 billion. They get fined $1 billion. They profit $9 billion. That is a good deal. And no crime. No, just business as usual. So let's talk about it. Let's talk about the masks. Thank you everybody for joining me. We're all the way. We are deep in. We are deep in. Are we still getting buffered? I can't. I don't know what to do. I don't know what to tell you. But we're gonna get into the story now, and see. So thank you everybody for joining me. I got 63 people watching. Martin Graffita, Sterling Price, Willie Diggs, James D. Weaver, J Rock. What's up, J Rock? Weevil Girl, Colito Bragante. Ban everything. All right, we could do that. Sterling Price, my brother from a different mother. And Vinny DiMartini, respect the wrenches kindly, please. I beg you. I ask you nicely. And then it's not so nice when they kick you out. So where are we, man? I forgot what we were doing, man. Fact check. Will masks lower your oxygen level, raise the carbon dioxide in your blood? This is the big controversy of our time because everybody's being literally forced by law in many places to wear a mask. So is this law detrimental to my health? Okay, I want to abide the law. I want to abide by the law. I think that it has nothing to do with COVID-19. As I said, I think it has to do with austerity. I think it has to do with getting people to shut the fuck up already and stay away from each other so they can't communicate. Right? And let them communicate online, and then we've got that solved. We can just censor them online, but we can't censor people when they're close to each other. So keep them away from each other. Have total control. If people are afraid, think about it. If people are afraid of each other and they don't communicate, they don't sit in a bar and chat. They're not elbow to elbow anymore in the nightclub. They're not walking around the street. Hey, stranger, how are you? They're not face to face. They're not able to read people's expressions because they got a stupid mask on. You have a total breakdown, not total, but a significant breakdown in communication amongst people. And I believe that that's what it's all about. That's what it's always been about. It's not about a disease. We don't have the solid evidence that says that this thing is so deadly. It doesn't really kill a lot of people, the COVID. It doesn't really kill a lot of people. It kills, flu kills more, cancer kills way more, diabetes kills way more, obesity. But so the mask. Oxygen in, carbon dioxide out. That's how the lungs work, if you're not familiar with it. So you breathe in O2, oxygen, and you breathe out carbon dioxide, CO2. So it's a derivative of oxygen. It has an oxygen component to it. Breathe in oxygen, breathe out carbon dioxide. There's no problem there, right? We know that that's the case. But what if something got in the way of that exchange? What if something, I don't know, like something in front of your face, suddenly caused you to not be able to have that robust exchange with your environment over time? What would happen? So let's find out. So this is KR07. I don't know what this says, but wearing a mask is one way to help prevent the spread of COVID-19 virus, according to health officials. However, they are sometimes uncomfortable and confining and have even become a political statement for some. Yeah, damn right, political statement. While they are annoying to most of us, there are some who believe they are more than that. So this is a left-leaning report, and we'll continue. We got some right-leaners too. Recently, a meme posted on Facebook, which has since been taken down, and other social media sites claiming that the masks are useless against the novel coronavirus, and Americans should not be forced to wear the mask coverings that are, at best, a false sense of protection, and at worst, a device that lowers a person's intake of oxygen and increases their intake of carbon dioxide. Now, we've seen many studies that say They do a little test, 20 minutes, a half an hour of some doctor breathing through a mask, and then they take his oxygen level, his blood oxygen. But there's very, very little research about the carbon dioxide buildup in the blood, right? That's what we're trying to find out. There's no research because you're not allowed to research it. You're not allowed to talk about this shit. You're not allowed to what fucking college, what teaching university is going to get a grant to investigate the detrimental effects of wearing a mask in this environment? Who's going to give them the money? Nobody's going to do it. The establishment is firmly behind the mask for the reasons that we just talked about. So the money isn't there. So they can now say, oh, see, there's no evidence, there's no research. But there is evidence and there is research, and it's in our behavior that you're going to see in a second. When someone can't breathe properly, when someone's complaining, I can't breathe with this fucking thing on my face, that is evidence. That is evidence that their breathing is being interfered with. I can't breathe. I gotta shut this shit off, man. Who's trying to call me, man? Who's trying to call me, man? Oh, man, she won't let me go. She won't let me turn it off. Turn it off. Turn off the phone. Turn off the phone. Turn off the phone. Okay, I'll do that. Huh. Wow, everything's crashing today. Holy shit. All systems breaking down today. All systems are breaking down today. So, as I was rudely interrupted, do masks cause hypoxia? Right? That's the word, hypoxia. Right? Which is a lack of oxygen in the blood, or hypercapnia. Hypercapnia. So hypoxia, hypo, whenever you see hypo, that's low. Whenever you see hyper, that's high. So low oxygen, high carbon dioxide. Carbon dioxide is a byproduct. You breathe it out. Your body's always producing it, and you're breathing it out. And plants breathe it in. The greenery in the world breathes in carbon dioxide, and the greenery, trees, release oxygen. That's why it's good to be around trees. Walk through nature, and you're breathing in fresh oxygen. They can protect. Can they protect you from COVID-19 virus? Let's find out. Right. So here is what we know about masks and their effect on the body. First, a bit about masks. The Center for Disease Control and Prevention recommends wearing a face covering when you are in public during the pandemic. The virus is transmitted mostly through droplets produced when people cough, sneeze, or talk. If you have the virus, a mask can catch some of those droplets, lowering the risk that others around you catch the virus. So in summary, you are wearing a mask to protect others, not yourself. Bullshit. Still bullshit. If you are a healthcare provider or someone who has access to N9 masks, then your mask is not only preventing you from spreading the virus to someone else, it is helping to prevent you from catching the virus from others. I said, this is all hyperbole. This is all mostly speculation based on really no solid evidence. Yeah, to determine if COVID-19 goes down in people who wear a mask, then you would have to have evidence that supports that fact. But you actually have evidence that says people who wear masks are more susceptible to the virus, and that's because of their immune system. That's because of their poor breathing habits. That's because of their own, carbon dioxide buildup on the other side of the mask, and or lack of oxygen to the brain. Right? That's what it is, or just bacteria, the actual shit building up on the other side of your face. We're not built for that. We're not built to have something covering our fucking mouth. Right? What type of masks are available? So this is all propaganda that suggests there is no evidence that a mask reduces oxygen levels in a person with this is according to this article. No evidence, and we're going to look at the evidence in a second. that a mask reduces oxygen levels in a person's blood, right? There is no real solid studies for the reasons I told you, that you're not allowed to do it. No teaching university is going to get a grant to investigate masks. It's very easy to do. Line up 500 people, have them sit all day in a cubicle with a mask on, covered nose, covered mouth, and just let them breathe naturally. Let them talk on the phone. Let them walk around amongst each other for hours, and see what happens. All right, and then do the blood test. Do a variety of people, young people, old people, and see what happens. I guarantee you find low oxygen, high carbon dioxide, no doubt. But because we don't have the significant research, then we have to say, well, there's no evidence. Okay, so we'll look at the circumstantial evidence. That's what we're doing. We don't have direct evidence, but we have circumstantial evidence. Instead of a mask reducing the oxygen level in your blood, a mask offers some resistance to the usual way of breathing. Pow! All right, so that's an admission of circumstantial evidence. The mask creates resistance to breathing. Making it seem more difficult to catch your breath. Not making it seem, it is making it more difficult to breathe. So there we agree. Right? The feeling is more a psychological one than a physical problem with breathing. No, it is not, you idiots. No, it is not, you hacks. It is a physical, it's not psychological. It's physical. It's a physical ailment. I can't breathe. What don't you understand about that? When a cop has his boot on some fat black guy's throat and he's screaming, I can't breathe, then you understand I can't breathe. But when someone's wearing a mask and telling you to your stupid face, I can't breathe, then it doesn't qualify. Oh, no. It's not, it's psychological. You're crazy. That's a crazy person. They don't know what they're talking about. Shut him up. Quiet him down. Lock him up. Get rid of him. All right? Stop talking about that. You can't talk about that. We'll censor you. We'll send over Buffy. Right? Instead of a mask reducing the oxygen levels in your blood, a mask offers some resistance to the way of breathing. Yes. All right? Texas A&M University virologist, blah, 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 told some other idiot that a mask, quote, will add some resistance to the breathing process, meaning it may feel like it takes a bit more work to take a breath, but it won't materially change the makeup of air that comes through the mask. So you got to breathe heavier. You got to breathe harder. Will most people unconsciously breathe heavier wearing a mask? No, they'll breathe less. So the mask is creating, tension. The fear that you might catch a bug causes you to breathe a little shallower. So you're breathing, with a mask on, you're actually breathing shallower, less, you're breathing less, and there's more resistance. So what does that tell you? It tells you that it's fucking with your breathing right there. Your breathing is being interfered with by this mask. Is anybody teaching people to breathe heavier? Proper use of a mask, breathe more? No, I have not heard that. I've not heard a single peep about people being told to breathe more. Just put the mask on. Put the fucking mask on. The people with chronic, so it does. They're admitting that it does cause resistance. It does cause resistance. The FDA notes that, quote, people with chronic respiratory, cardiac, or other medical conditions that make breathing difficult should check with their health provider before using an N95 respirator, because the N95 respirator can make it more difficult for the wearer to breathe. So that's the really thick one, right? The N95. I think I took like 1 or 2, maybe 3 breaths in one of those things just to try it on. It's the one with the little carburetor on it. It's got a little fucking dial on it, right? I don't know what that's all about. Well, it's like breathing through a sock. It's like sticking a sock up your nose and your mouth and expecting to breathe. It causes fucking restrictions in your breathing. This fucking common sense. That right there is evidence. Everybody you talk to says the mask creates difficulty breathing. All right, let's move on. Do masks increase the level of carbon dioxide in the blood? So that's because carbon dioxide is toxic, right? Toxicity. Carbon dioxide toxicity, or when you get too much carbon dioxide in your bloodstream, is known as hypercapnia. Hypercapnia. That's going to be the disease in 5 years. That'll be the new order, right? What are you doing for your hypercapnia? Hypercapnia, they'll have oxygenation under your nose behind the mask. Well, that's a good idea. Right? If you're gonna shut people down, and then cut an exhaust pipe, have the exhaust down, right? Have a fucking oxygen in and an exhaust out. Breathe in your nose, oxygen, breathe the carbon dioxide out. It's so ridiculous. So carbon dioxide toxicity, or when you get too much carbon dioxide in your bloodstream, is known as hypercapnia. As with the notion that you are being starved of oxygen if you wear a mask, the idea that you block the exhaling of all carbon dioxide you breathe out of your body is incorrect. No, it's not incorrect, you morons. The N95 surgical mask and certainly a cloth mask are all porous. Oh, really? Yeah, they're porous, so they have holes in them, right? Meaning they each allow carbon dioxide to escape just as they let oxygen in. So on that same note, aren't they also aren't they also allowing the free flow of everything else that comes in and out? It's out the side, out the top. Every time the jerk-offs that are wearing them touch their face, they keep pulling it down and up and down and blowing their nose and they're coughing. Put the fucking mask back on, touch the mask, touch you, touch the surfaces. Stay away from your mask and go outside and breathe heavy, right? Yeah, I mean, even as I'm talking, spit is flying out. I'm a spitter. Spit flies when I talk because I talk with intensity, man. Fucking I'll spit in your face, man. It's not. I'm not going to kill anybody, right? This is ridiculous. Quote, there is no risk of hypercapnia, CO2 retention in healthy adults who use face coverings, including medical and cloth face coverings, as well as the N95. So here's the contradiction right there. So this jackoff is saying that even the 95 mask, the very thick mask, there's no problem with there, says Dr. Glattberg, an emergency physician at Lenox Hospital in New York. Carbon dioxide molecules freely diffuse through the mask, allowing normal gas exchange while breathing. But we just said that. We just said the other doctor just said the opposite. The other experts just said that the N95, you should consult a physician. So now that we consult the physician says, no, it's no problem. Just wear it. It's no big deal. It's no big deal because it's what you're supposed to do. You have to do it. A representative from the CDC had a slightly different take. The representative said that some level of carbon dioxide could possibly build up in some masks, but not enough to cause the wearer to be in danger. CO2 will slowly build up in the mask over time. That's not what's going on either. That's not what's going on either. It's like you breathe out and it stays in the mask, and then you breathe it back in. You're breathing, right? So it's trapping. It's not over time. It's every time. Every time you exhale, it doesn't. The logic behind saying that CO2 will slowly build up in the mask over time. How? It's happening every breath. You breathe in oxygen. You pull everything in the mask into your lungs. And then you breathe out. You're pushing the carbon dioxide out. If you're breathing properly, you're doing it with you on their own recommendation. You're doing it strongly. You're breathing it in because you're having a hard time breathing. You should practice breathing outside. People should practice breathing. Learn how to breathe from your gut. Your breathing comes from your diaphragm. You push the diaphragm down, and the lungs expand. You don't breathe with your chest. That's not the right way to breathe. Most people don't even know how to breathe because as a singer, you learn how to breathe. As a musician, you learn how to breathe. Or you won't be able to stay in time if you're not. if you're not breathing properly, or even doing what I'm doing now, constantly talking for 2 hours, if you don't do it properly, if you're not breathing properly, you won't be able to survive. You won't be able to do it. But so I disagree with that. There's no logic to CO2 will slowly build up in the mask over time. No, the CO2 gets sucked into your lungs because it wasn't allowed to escape. And then that over time that reaction starts to build, right? More carbon dioxide coming in than what you really need, which is oxygen. So you got a cocktail of oxygen and old carbon dioxide going into your lungs, and then you're pushing out the same. It's backwards. It's fucking backwards, right? There's your evidence. You might get a headache. So you're admitting to symptoms. They admit that there's symptoms, but you would most likely not suffer the symptoms observed at a higher level of CO2. So you're saying that there are significant enough carbon dioxide buildup to create a headache. Right? See, these are demological studies. These are studies of people, what people are experiencing. That is way more powerful than 30 jerk-offs wearing masks, literally jerking off hospital students, doctor students jerking off in a room for 30 minutes in a controlled setting that we can't see. That is not as valid as millions of people complaining and having shortness of breath and not being able to breathe. That's the real study. It's right in front of you. It's as clear as the mask on your face. You might get a headache. Yeah, you're damn right you might get a headache. But it is unlikely that wearing a mask will cause hypercapnia. All right. Well, then you got to redefine the definition of hypercapnia. There's probably degrees of hypercapnia. Right? To what degree? The degree enough to create a headache. What about 5 years later? What is that constant interference with your breathing? What is the consequence of that after 5 years? Or 3 years, or 5 hours? What is the consequence of that shit? That's what we got to find out. Are we up? I got to keep checking if we're still live. This is good stuff, man. It's good material, man. I'm on a fucking roll, man. I'm on a roll. What's up, everybody, man? So what else? I'll continue as if we're going. So that's one article. Let's continue. It's better. It gets better, right? So as if. So the politicians believe it too. So here's, good. Dianne Feinstein concluded the Barrett hearings by giving a maskless Lindsey Graham a hug. Ooh, you saw it? So here's Dianne Feinstein, the 80-year-old fossil Democrat that is just should go away, is hugging the other idiot, Lindsey Graham, both of which are claiming that you got to wear a mask and getting behind all the CDC bullshit. Lindsey Graham to a lesser degree, but certainly Dianne Feinstein. Now, they hugged each other out in plain view. Everybody, all the little people have masks on because they're required to, but the big old senators, the important people, they're not going to wear a mask, so they can hug each other, and because they're not diseased, because they don't see themselves as diseased. They see you as diseased. You're the problem. So if any of these two idiots get COVID-19, even a mild case of it, then they can blame each other for it, right? They could sue each other. And there's the image, right? So here's Dianne Feinstein with no mask, the senator, ranking member of the Senate, and then they are hugging. There was a video, but for some reason the video won't play. You keep clicking on it, all you get is an image. So we're taking the temperature here. We're taking the temperature of Senate. Are the senators and the Congress people abiding by the mask rule? No, because you can't fucking breathe. You can't breathe. Take the mask off, right? I found Dianne Feinstein's mask. Here it is. She threw that shit on the floor, man. She's fucking wiping her ass with it, right? This is what you're breathing. Look. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. This is what you're going through, right? Fucking dirty, stinking, nasty shit, right? So, I think I got two more. Breathing with face mask does not alter oxygen level. Virus can And then they shift to virus can last 9 hours on skin. Oh, really? Where's the 9? Whose skin? They use cadavers. Whose skin? Because it last 9 hours on. Let's see. The following is a roundup of some of the latest scientific studies on the novel coronavirus and efforts to find treatments and vaccines for COVID-19, the illness caused by the virus. Breathing with face masks does not affect the lungs. Bullshit. The average face mask may be uncomfortable. See, this is what we're looking for. I don't want your opinion. I'm not interested in your opinion. If something is causing people to breathe less, it is affecting their lungs. Confirmed. I can't breathe. It's affecting my lungs. When you got your boot on the black guy's throat and he's screaming, I can't breathe, oh, we understand. But when someone's got something gagging their face and they say they can't breathe, then you're overreacting. That's psychological. No. It's evidence. The average face mask may be uncomfortable, but does not limit the flow of oxygen to the lungs, even in people with severe lung diseases. Now, here's the research, right? I've already read this, but another time. They tested the effect of wearing surgical masks on gas exchange, the process by which the body adds oxygen to the blood while removing carbon dioxide. In 15 healthy physicians and 15 military veterans with severely impaired lungs via a quick paced 6-minute walk on a flat hard surface. So 15 people walking for 6 minutes. All right. Oxygen and carbon dioxide levels in the blood were measured before and after the walking test. Neither the healthy doctors nor the patients with diseased lungs showed any major changes in gas exchange measures after the walk. Okay, so right away the study itself is flawed, right? Because once you take a mask off and you get a couple of breaths, your blood levels neutralize. They balance out. Was the test taken with the mask on? Right? And then why only 30 minutes? Why not? And why 15 healthy physicians? Well, I've never met a healthy physician. They smoke. They're totally unhealthy. And some unhealthy people. It's not an accurate. 30 people is not a significant test size to base a policy that is affecting billions of people wearing these stupid things. That is not evidence. This organization, Reuters is reporting it, and leaning on this is malpractice. It's journalistic malpractice. It's medical malpractice. To say, and people don't know that because they don't have medical degrees. They've never read medical research before. It has to be studied over a long period of time with many, many, many people in the study. Not 15, not 20, not 30, but hundreds. So that's that. Oxygen and carbon dioxide levels in the blood were measured before and after the walking test. It doesn't say if they had the mask on. Neither the healthy doctors nor the patients with diseased lungs showed any major changes. Any major changes? How about some changes in gas exchange measurements after the walking test? So didn't show any major changes. What's a major change? Keep the mask on for an hour and see what it is. Keep the mask on for 5 hours like you're instructing people on a flight. Someone takes a 5-hour flight, they gotta wear a mask the whole fucking time. Or on a bus. For 5 hours of breathing in carbon dioxide, breathing out oxygen? Or the other way around? It's a flawed study. But this is all we have. This is all we have. Neither the healthy doctor nor the patient with diseased lungs showed any major changes in gas exchange measures after the walking test or up to 30 minutes later. Okay, up to 30 minutes later. Mask discomfort is likely not due to rebreathing of carbon dioxide and decreases in oxygen levels, the researchers reported. Instead, masks may be causing discomfort by irritating sensitive facial nerves, warming inhaled air, or inducing feelings of claustrophobia. Claustrophobia, that's not a bad thing. I feel like I can't breathe. My face is, what the fuck? Psychological. That is psychological claustrophobia, but it's fear. It's creating fear. And my assessment of it, my personal assessment of it, is that when you walk around, if you should wear a mask, you're living in fear, and you're very likely to not be breathing in heavier because you're afraid of the air. You're literally afraid of air. So you're not going to do deep. Who do you know has done deep breathing exercise wearing a mask? Nobody. So you're not allowed to. You can't, if you're wearing the mask, you're not going to do deep breathing on your own while you're wearing the mask. So hours are going to pass. I deep breathe all the time. When I'm walking around, I'm always breathing. I'm even doing it now. I do it during this, while I'm doing this, so I don't pass out. Right? But if you're wearing a mask, how many people researchers have you asked, do you breathe deeply when you have a mask on? The answer would be no, because it's dirty and you feel like you're breathing in polluted air because you're sick. People are sick all around you. I'll breathe less. So the psychological trigger is that you will breathe less with a mask on. I know I'm repeating myself, but I want to make the point. So they're suggesting that mask discomfort, left undisturbed, the new coronavirus can survive many hours on human skin. Why are they mixing the two together? I would dispute that. 9 hours, 9 fucking hours, 15 seconds under. Most viruses can't last. There's a blast of alcohol. Cannot last. This is vodka, by the way. It's not isopropyl. I use vodka instead. That's a blast of vodka. How many? No, you can't see me because I sprayed the mat. I sprayed that shit. Let's clean the mat. Clean that shit up. How many people you know are walking around doing heavy breathing with a mask on? So within 15 seconds, just to confirm this article, let's move on to the next one. So even the lion is having a problem breathing. They put the New York Public Library here in New York made sure that you see the mask. This is okay. This is proper etiquette in the age of conformity, where even the lion would wear a mask if he had one. He would have worn a mask a long time ago because his breath stinks and his breath is diseased and his teeth are ugly. So put a mask on him. So I want to talk about this. This is the best article that I've seen about it. I had to wait an hour and 20 minutes to get to it, but we're here now. We're here, and be grateful that we're here. Morning, everybody in the chat. Vinny DiMartini, Sterling Price. What's up, everybody? Martin Gerfrida. Buddha Girl. How you doing, Buddha Girl? Buddha Girl. Airlines will lose money from this. Yeah, no doubt. No doubt, Buddha Girl. The airlines are dead. Poor restaurants. Right? Restaurants are screwed. Who else is here? Jessley Snipes, Weevil Girl. Thank you, everybody, for hanging in there with us. I think we're less buffery. I don't know what happened, but these streams go very long now. I don't know. Just they're an hour and 2 hours now. So, anyway, man, what else we got to do, man? It's raining here in New York, man. It's raining like a mofo. Man, it's fucking rain coming down. It's cold. It's cooler. I'm gonna still go outside. I'm not gonna not go outside. Go outside in the rain. Just get a nice umbrella. Get a big ass umbrella or a raincoat, and walk around, man. Walk around in your bee shoes, your shoes that you don't mind getting wet. No big deal. So here's the terms again: hypercapnia, excuse me. I added a syllable. Hypercapnia. That's elevated CO2 in your blood, or hypercarbia. As it is sometimes called. So it's the same. Hypercapnia, remember this, is a condition arising from too much carbon dioxide in the blood. It is often caused by hypoventilation. Not hyperventilation. Hypoventilation. Less air, breathing less. What are you going to do? Most people that are old people, you think they're going to sit there struggling with a mask all day? Fucking all their attention goes to breathing in through a mask. I can't breathe. I can't breathe. I can't breathe. No, they're just going to sit there and breathe less. And slowly they're going to get a headache. And slowly their carbon dioxide in the blood is going to build up. And slowly less oxygen is going to exchange. That's the real condition. There are other causes of hypercapnia as well, including some lung diseases. But we're not talking about those. There is no lung disease with COVID-19. This article discusses the symptoms and causes of hypercapnia and outlines some of the treatment options. Fact. Hypercapnia symptoms can range from mild to severe. So what the other people, what was major? No major differences. Well, let's look at the minor differences that build up over time. To diagnose it, a doctor will take a blood sample and examine lung and breathing function. Well, that's good to know. So we know that blood oxygen and blood carbon dioxide levels can be measured through blood, through a simple blood sample. Blood sample, right? So let's do, I would love to get a machine. If I had one, I would do it. I would do it myself. I would do the experiment. I would be the guinea pig. I would go outside. I'll put the mask on. I'll run back and forth across the track a couple of times. I'll keep it on for a few hours. And then I'll immediately do the prick, the finger prick. And I'll send my blood I will guarantee you that there will be low oxygen and high carbon dioxide. I will guarantee that shit. All right. So let's look at the symptoms. Oh, I have a headache. No, that's not a symptom. That's not, you can't look at that. Because that's not real. That's not scientific. A headache can be from anything. That's what they'll tell you. In cases where symptoms are mild and develop slowly over time, people may not even realize they have hypercapnia. Therefore, it is important to be aware of both mild and severe symptoms. Dizziness, drowsiness, excessive fatigue, headaches, feeling disoriented, flushing of the skin, and shortness of breath. Now, how many people have you talked to that put a mask on and immediately feel like this? Dizziness, check. Drowsiness, pfft. Look on the train. How many people fall asleep when they got that fucking thing on their face? Me, I don't, because I'm just wearing a very thin veil. And my nose is almost always out. I'm breathing through my nose. If I got a mask on, I'm breathing through my nose and my nose is out. I'm not conforming. I'm just putting on the thing so I could get to where I got to go. So dizziness, drowsiness, yes. Excessive fatigue, yes. You feel fucked up. Headaches all the time. Yeah, people are experiencing headaches. Feeling disoriented. Well, yeah, that's a sidebar to dizziness and drowsiness. I feel fucking disoriented. Right? If you're dizzy, you're disoriented. Right? Flushing of the skin. I don't know about that, but shortness of breath too. Yeah, it causes you to not be able to breathe more. So this is a good article right here. All right? Ow! Oh man! I just rolled my chair over my bare toe, man. Look at my bare fucking toe. Ow! I'm always barefoot, by the way. I'm even barefoot outside most of the time when I'm walking around. Not in the street, but certainly in the park. These symptoms of hypercapnia may arise from shorter periods of shallow or slow breathing. Ding, 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 ding. Ding, 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 ding. Highlight that. These symptoms of more carbon dioxide in the blood may arise from shorter periods of shallow or slow breathing, such as during deep sleep, or wearing a fucking mask while you're walking around trying to breathe fresh air. So these symptoms can occur through shallow breathing. Yes. Slower breathing. Yes. What is the mask now confirmed to do based on the testimony of millions and millions of people wearing them? If you bother to ask them, do a survey. Do a mask survey. That's how you do it. Ask 1 million people the answer to these questions. Have they experienced dizziness, drowsiness, excessive fatigue, headaches, feeling disoriented, flushed skin, shortness of breath? They'll answer yes. Many people will, but you can't trust people. That's what the mainstream media establishment will say. No. They're not trustworthy. People are not trustworthy. Look at them. They're dirty. They got to wear a fucking mask. They're horrible. Right? They can't even get on a plane without keeping the mask on for 5 hours. Meanwhile, we're flying over their heads with our Lear jets, right? With no mask on. Mask. There's no fucking mask up in the sky with rich executives. That's for you. Right? They may not always be a cause for concern, as the body is often able to correct the symptoms and balance carbon dioxide levels in the bloodstream without intervention. Yeah, just take the mask off. And I bet you that's where they did that 15 study. I guarantee you they took the masks off of the people and said, "Okay, come over here and we're going to test your shit right now." Guarantee. All right. Bullshit. All right. Severe symptoms. Okay, so this is 5 years from now when people start to get, inundated with some sort of carbon dioxide buildup in some other way that we haven't seen yet, because we've never seen this before. This is unprecedented in human history. Prolonged, severe wearing of very thick, constrictive breathing apparatuses over our faces. So this is what we can look forward to. Confusion, coma, depression or paranoia, hyperventilation or excessive breathing, irregular heartbeat or arrhythmia, loss of consciousness, muscle twitching, panic attacks, seizure. This is where we're going with it. This is all where we're going, right? This is where we're heading. We're heading right for it, right? Chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, known as COPD. There are many causes of hypercapnia, including some of the following. So the mask will then, what it'll probably do is lead to, my prediction will be that you'll see a manifestation if people keep wearing these masks on a daily basis. Some of them even when they sleep, or they're in their cubicle for 8 hours or 9 hours and then get back on the train for another hour and go on the train. They're spending 10, 12 hours a day wearing masks. Test those people, you crackers. Test those people. My prediction is that they will develop over time COPD. So remember that, carbon dioxide. Chronic obstructive pulmonary disease is an umbrella term for several conditions that affect the breathing. Yeah. Right. Emphysema, bronchitis. Right? So I didn't know that. So COPD is anything lung related. Chronic bronchitis leads to inflammation and mucus in the airwaves, while emphysema involves damage to the air sacs or alveoli in the lungs. That's what people on the ventilators are going to end up with. They're going to end up with not emphysema from smoking, but from having all that air pushed into the lower levels of the lungs, the alveoli. I know a lot about this stuff, man. I told you. It's a long time ago since I cracked open a medical book or been in the medical circles, but it's things that you never forget because you spent years of your life studying it. So I am a bona fide expert. I am an expert. Marcus Conte is an expert on this subject. So there you go, YouTube. You want to compare your credentials to my credentials? My ability to speak on this subject, I am a bona fide expert. I'm not endorsed by you. I'm not someone who you would respect as a professional, because you are a dickhead. You can't see past your own face. And you should put a mask on and breathe really heavy and get some hypercapnia. The main cause of COPD is long-term exposure to lung irritants. Okay. Also, sleep apnea. If people are wearing a mask while they're sleeping, they're fucking fools. They're idiots. Genetics, rarely a genetic condition where the liver. We're not even going to look at that. Nerve disorders and muscular problems. In some people, the nerves and muscles necessary for proper lung function may not work correctly. For example, muscular dystrophy can cause the muscles to weaken. So how many people in a nursing home that have muscular dystrophy are you forcing to wear masks? Right? Here's the evidence. It causes them. Right? So there you go. Muscular dystrophy, encephalitis. That's a brain problem. Other causes of high blood levels of carbon dioxide. We're just looking at the carbon dioxide in this article, not the oxygen. Activities that impact breathing, including diving or ventilators. Ding, 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 ding. Ding, 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 ding. Ring the bell. Ring the bell. Activities that impact breathing, like wearing a mask while you're running around the track, where you see so many people doing that, or running up the stairs in the subway. You know how many fucking flights of stairs there are sometimes in the subway, and you got an old lady wearing a mask, an old lady with COPD, and then you tell her you've got an old lady with COPD, or one of these other fucking fancy COPD. That's enough. That's an umbrella. That covers everything. You've got an old lady in the subway walking up the stairs, barely being able to get up the stairs, wearing a mask, hyperventilating. So causes of high blood levels of carbon dioxide in the blood. Causes. Let's look. Causes. Activities that impact breathing. For example, walking up a flight of fucking stairs when you're 80 years old and you got COPD. Walking is an activity. Wearing a mask. That is an activity that causes this. Evidence. Right? Brainstem stroke. Okay. Hypothermia, a medical emergency caused by rapid heat loss. Okay, well, I don't know how many people are going to experience that. Obesity. Woo! Obesity, hypoventilation symptoms when overweight people cannot breathe deeply or quickly enough. So, it is now safe to say, based on this evidence, based on this research that we're doing here today, that obese people wearing a mask are more susceptible to higher levels of carbon dioxide in the blood, which is toxic. Remember, it's toxic. It's poison. You're breathing in things that we're not supposed to breathe in. An overdose of certain drugs. Well, if you're overdosing on opiates and benzodiazepines, that's your problem. That's a separate problem. Right? What other risk factors? For more. Smoke. People who smoke, especially heavy smokers, are at greater risk of COPD, hypercapnia, other breathing difficulties, and lung diseases. Okay, so all the people that have those symptoms, now you add a mask to the equation, and it gets worse. Have asthma. Asthma causes the airwaves to become inflamed and narrowed. It may impact breathing and the levels of carbon dioxide in the body when it is not well controlled. So there you go, man. I know I might be losing a lot of people on this or just the length of time, but this is important research. This is should be ongoing. I shouldn't be the only one looking at this, but I am, because I see it. I see it as a former medical professional. I see it. I saw it right away. I said, oh my God, you're covering people's faces. You're getting in the way of their breathing. This will be a problem. Now we're going to start to see it. People who work with lung irritants, that's the one time you should wear a mask. When you're painting, that's a good idea. I believe in that. You should, pop on a mask when you're around like car fumes and shit like that. You'll catch a little bit of it. Right? Having COPD, especially if diagnosed at a latter stage of disease progression, increases the likelihood of getting hypercapnia. So here's the diagnoses. Let's see. Some tests used to diagnose hypercapnia: atrial blood gas test. So they got to take a sample right out of your vein. They can't do the finger prick. I correct that. Atrial. It's got to come out of the artery. It's got to come right from the heart, closest to the heart. A spirometer test. This test involves blowing into a tube. Oh, that's better. To access how much air a person can move out of their lungs. That's the fucking test right there. That is the fucking test. Fuck the blood shit. Right? Do the test without the mask and with the mask. That's how you do it. Right? X-ray or CAT scan. These imaging tests can check for the presence of lung damage and lung conditions. I don't know about that. So here's the treatment. Don't wear a mask. Treatment for the high carbon dioxide in the blood will depend on severity and condition, the use of a ventilator, medication, oxygen therapy. Profit. So now you'll see the profiteering. This is what the medical profession will create in 5 years. It'll create a whole, army of people with this new symptom, this new ailment, decreased lung function. And look, you can give them ventilators. We need more ventilators, right? Because people stop breathing. Medications. Oh, take a pill. We have a pill. We have a pill that will correct your problem. So don't worry about it. What are you worried about? What are you worried about with the mask on? We got the ventilators ready to go. We have pills that you can take. It's not a big deal. Lifestyle change. Oxygen. We'll give you oxygen. Fuck it. That's expensive, man. So we like that. We'll give you some oxygen. People who undergo oxygen therapy regularly use a device to deliver oxygen to the lungs. This can help balance out the levels of carbon dioxide in the blood. Yeah, very quickly, too. If you just take in an oxygen mask quickly, this is all these symptoms are correctable quickly. Once you take the mask off, once you start breathing proper function. But what is the toxic effect of prolonged carbon dioxide buildup in the blood? That is the question. That is the question. It is toxic. How long can you go on in a toxic environment that you are creating for yourself? Right. Surgery. If the lungs or airways are damaged, we can open them up with a knife. So anyway, Mark's Conte reporting. I hope that was helpful. I'm all the way down here, man. I gotta get up here. I hope that was helpful. That's my take. That's not spin. My conclusion after all that, after all these hours, 2 hours, hour and a half, almost 2 hours, is that the carbon dioxide created by the austerity of wearing masks is a problem and will continue to be a problem, a health problem in America and the world. And that you should do your best to avoid the onset of that problem. By doing what you're not supposed to do. And the other fact is that the mask is slowly, actually rather quickly, becoming a measure of austerity, as you see, and throughout the universities where people are using the establishment is using they're using austerity, they're using the shelter in place, stay away from each other as a tool to keep people away from each other, to prevent them from being social, from being close to each other, from talking. They're using that measure. Right? And you saw in Thailand where they're not even denying it. In Thailand, they're not even denying that the reason to not be close together is so that you don't talk. They don't want more than 5 people gathering. That's the real shit. So thank you all for joining me. You now know the truth. You know the truth. I just gave you the truth. Is that the truth? I think it's the truth. Truth. Thanks everybody for joining me. Thank you everybody in the chat. Thank you very, very much. That was a good show. I have to agree. I thought we did well with that. It's a good subject. I love talking about this. I like talking about it because it helps people. It helps people wake up. Take care of yourself. Take care of yourself. Take care of your people that you care about. I mean, if everybody else wants to die a slow death, don't Speak more.